Good afternoon. It's good to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Several landmark projects executed at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital towards enhancing healthcare delivery have been inaugurated. President Muhammadu Buhari described the event as a reflection of federal government's commitment towards improving lives and livelihoods, as well as creating the enabling environment for growth, peace and progress. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the projects were inaugurated virtually by the president.
Amongst the impressive projects inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari is the 150-bed, fully equipped trauma center, which comes with a helipad to provide latest multidisciplinary care to those in need. Others were the new General Outpatient Department, a complex for the National Health Insurance Scheme, a multipurpose auditorium and conference center constructed and furnished by the Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, as well as a new hostel for the School of Nursing of the teaching hospital.
The value of these projects to our healthcare system cannot be underestimated. Emerging diseases have made it necessary for all nations to increase and improve resource application, adapting to the new normal.
President Muhammadu Buhari urged the citizens to take advantage of the excellent facilities, while the operators to imbibe maintenance culture as government sustained efforts at rendering affordable and quality healthcare with broad coverage.
I should direct the head of service and the budget office to look into the request of University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital for an increase in the personnel and overhead allocation so as to optimize services provided by the activation of these new projects. Nigeria is proud of your achievements. I urge all staff to continue to work together harmoniously for the benefit of citizens. I assure you of my commitment to improve healthcare delivery services all over Nigeria.
Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, in a goodwill message, said Borno State will continue to collaborate more effectively with the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital towards the provision of basic healthcare needs in Borno, the home of peace.
These landmark projects were timely, considering the challenges the state is facing as a result of the lingering security challenges. Indeed, we are short of working to thank Mr. President for his tireless support to the government and people of Borno State in fighting the insurgency and many other interventions. And so our collective prayers are with you, Your Excellency.
I'd like to express WHO commitment to continue to support the university and the government to make sure that the communities in the Borno State have the services of the quality they require.
Assisting and protecting lives affected by armed conflict and violence is always a collective effort. I strongly believe that this physical rehabilitation center will demonstrate that in the years to come.
During the event, participants applauded the management of the teaching hospital for its partnership with the ICRC that produced a fully operational physical rehabilitation center in support of the stabilization drive in Borno State. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And the federal government says it will not condone a situation where some self-styled human rights bodies and media organizations will continue to harass the country's security agencies over their roles during the NSAS crisis across the country. This was contained in a media briefing by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, in Abuja. Over now to Anthony Forsen for the details.
No longer news that the NSAS protest last month degenerated into mindless violence after it was hijacked by hoodlums, which in its wake left lingering issues begging for answers. But let's take the matter on its merit. The NSAS protesters came up with 5 demands. The federal government accepted and in a swift reaction conceded to the demands, with President Muhammadu Buhari assuring that the disbanding of SARS is the first step in our commitment to extensive police reforms in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agents remain the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. The federal government was indeed responsive and responsible in meeting the demands of the NSAS protesters, but frowned at the use of fake news and disinformation, which aggravated the crisis and paved way for foreign media to equally mislead the rest of the world.
The irresponsible use of the social media by some unscrupulous persons aggravated the violence that erupted in the wake of the NSAS protests and helped to precipitate the violence. CNN grouped in a preconceived stance that the soldiers who were deployed to Lekki toll gate indeed shot at protesters, killing some of them. CNN relied heavily on unverified and possibly doctored videos, as well as information sourced from questionable sources to reach its conclusion. This should earn CNN a serious sanction for irresponsible reporting.
While the National Economic Council has directed that panel of inquiry be set in all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, people with genuine complaints backed with facts should approach the panel. The federal government, Lai Mohammed maintained, appreciates the role of security agencies for acting professionally through the show of utmost restraint all along the NSAS protests and the ensuing violence. Therefore, right groups should cease inflaming passion.
It's also disheartening that the human rights organizations have not seen anything wrong in the mindless violence that was perpetrated in the name of NSAS.
On DJ Switch, the minister called her to
quit peddling falsehood and present her case with verifiable evidence to the judicial panel sitting in Lagos. No agency of government has declared her wanted. Hence, she has no reason fleeing or seeking asylum anywhere.
He was, however, quick to explain the federal government's stand on NBC's sanctioning of some broadcast stations, saying it is justified in view of the unprofessional act of such organizations, which were a clear breach of NBC code. On the whole, the minister expressed sadness at the rate in which mayhem was unleashed on security agents, killing and maiming them in a barbaric manner, which claimed the lives of 6 soldiers and 37 policemen around the country. This, he said, is in addition to 196 that sustained varying degrees of injuries. Taking stock, 164 police vehicles were destroyed, 134 police stations were razed. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Customs Service, and Nigerian Immigration Service all lost infrastructures, equipment, and other valuables during the attack by the hoodlums. 8 medium security custodial centers in 6 states were attacked, and 1,957 inmates set free and 31 staff injured. To this end, Lai Mohammed said the federal government is not in any way planning to shut down social media. It will equally not fold its arms to allow its abuse, saying no nation can afford that. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To the legislature now, where the House of Representatives is determined to ensure that the public buy in on lawmaking, especially on issues connected to human rights and security. This informed its decision to go a step further by involving stakeholders in drafting a bill. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the first public policy dialogue series.
The 9th House of Representatives will do everything we can to deliver for the Nigerian people a policing system that works for every citizen. We will talk, we will engage, we will change laws, and we will amend the Constitution subject to the consensus of the Nigerian people.
Most police officers are decent and hardworking. We do, however, like in Nigeria and anywhere else, have some bad apples.
Coming on the heels of the NSAS protests, the public policy dialogue is geared at improved citizens' participation as the House of Representatives gets set to introduce the Police Service Commission Reform Bill 2020. Among stakeholders as the public discuss whose input the House believes is necessary are the Nigerian Bar Association, the Nigeria Police Force, National Human Rights Commission, and the civil society.
Give powers to the Police Service Commission to intervene even at the level of curriculum with regard to the police, so that we are turning around their mindset even from the get-go.
It is well known in this country that whenever our police officers go outside this country for international operations, they excel. The missing gap is just that the climate of operation, the conditions under which they operate over there predisposes them to excellence, but the conditions under which they operate here creates the challenge they have.
There is also a lacuna that is in place because it doesn't give specific time for this commission to enter a verdict. So even if we can conclude in 6 months, because some of us, even in our own organization, can investigate forever.
Some of the provisions in the draft documents are sanctions for errant police personnel and inclusion of more stakeholders into the Commission's membership structure, such as the ICPC.
These interactions do not usurp the legislative process, but will serve to improve it in the interest of all Nigerians.
Section 4 and 5 of the Act have addressed a lot of improvement on the issue of human rights.
The bill also made provisions for training, welfare, and disciplinary procedure to make the force more efficient. Lami Ali, NTA News.
And we are not done with human rights issues, as hearing of petition continues at the Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violation by the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, and other units of the Nigerian Police Force. Correspondent Austin Anyebe has the latest from the sitting of the panel in Abuja.
The petitioner Ngozika Uhuoma narrated how he executed a contract and money paid into his Union Bank account in 2013 got him framed up and was arrested by the policemen attached to the bank. The panel directed that counsel to the petitioner approach Union Bank for recovery of his vehicle, as the police said it is not with them. Another Gabriel Ufoma alleged that documents of land which he bought at Duse Alaji in Buhari Area Council were taken away from him under duress by the police, who accused him of acquiring the property without proper verification. The police instituted an action against him and the court ruled in his favor.
This IPO Eliad now stepped out from a car. I didn't know he was there, and now organized for these people to embarrass me.
One of the policemen accused, Inspector Ilya, admitted seizing the documents. The panel, therefore, directed him to produce the documents on the 3rd of December, the next adjourned date. Late Festus Idehim, residing in Kaduna, also asked the panel to inquire into the alleged extrajudicial killing of their son Festus, a graduate of Federal Polytechnic, Karanamoda. The family alleged that one Kingsley, an inspector with defunct SARS, had accused Festus of car theft and subsequently killed him without proper investigation.
My brother suffered. He was in the cell, he did not eat. Since on the 3rd that he left us, he didn't eat anything. He died on the 6th.
Further hearing continues on the 15th of December. From the FCT High Court, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Imo State Commission of Inquiry into Police Brutality and Extrajudicial Killings has frowned at the refusal of most of the indicted police officers to appear before it. Kingsley Ononiwu reports that the concern was raised at the commission sitting in Owerri.
Because of all the torture and unlawful prosecution and everything they did, that they should compensate me.
I want the commission to recommend the commensurate payment compensation to our family. Me in particular.
For what?
For illegal detention.
Those are the prayers of the petitioners at the ongoing sitting of the Imo State Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Police Brutality and Extrajudicial Killings in the state. Worried by the absence of most of the indicted police personnel, which is said to be hampering quick hearing of petitions, the chairman of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry.
We have a problem with getting the indicted police officers to come before the commission, because they serve in various formations, maybe not known to us, We decided to serve them by substituted means through the Commissioner of Police. But unfortunately, the Commissioner of Police in most states has not been forthcoming.
She also speaks on the kind of petitions being submitted to the Commission, which mainly border on extrajudicial killings and shootings, among other human rights abuses.
Police get involved in matters they shouldn't get involved in, like civil matters. When there is a land dispute, and the people come to you, I mean, what the police should do is to refer them to their civil remedies.
As at last count, the Commission has received over 70 petitions, while more are still being expected. In Owerri, Kingsley Onaniwu, NTA News.
And Hing, is on standby with more reports in our Lagos Network Center. Hello, you're on.
Thank you, Hawa. The Presidential Committee on the Deep Blue Project is in Lagos on an inspection of assets in anticipation of the takeoff of the project. The project, which is an integrated national security and waterways protection infrastructure, will comprehensively tackle insecurity in Nigeria's territorial waters up to the Gulf of Guinea. On the team include the Ministers of Defense, Bashir Magashi, Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, and Director General Nimasa Bashir Jamo. The first point of visit by the team was the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company Import Warehouse in Ikeja, where facilities such as an unmanned aerial vehicle for surveillance and other materials have been acquired in preparation for the commencement of operations. Now, to security matters. The Lagos State Police Command has commenced the second phase of clampdown on suspects who looted public and private properties during the violence unleashed by hoodlums who hijacked the NSAS protest in the state. Nosal reports that the State Commissioner of Police, Hakim Odumosu, revealed that the culprits were being intercepted following analysis of videos that showed looting and destruction of properties in different parts of the state.
Parading 789 suspects arrested during raids of black spots and arrest of 357 vehicles and 480 motorcycles alleged to have violated traffic laws in the state between 12th and 16th of November. The commissioner explained that some looted items during the violence were recovered, including a generator belonging to the area command in Abuja, as well as electronics stolen from shops in different locations.
The command has relaunched its strategies to fight crimes and criminality across the state. I bring to book the hoodlums that hijacked the NSAS protest in the state.
Giving updates on the initial 560 suspects arrested in connection with murder, arson, housebreaking and looting recorded during the violence, Odumosu said 435 have been prosecuted, 48 are still under investigation, while 82 were released after screening.
Once your vehicle is impounded for driving against traffic, the punishment is total forfeiture to the government, not issue of fine.
The commissioner also noted with dismay the flagrant violation of the Lagos traffic law by both private and commercial motorists, a trend he attributed to the violence and lawlessness that preceded the NSAS protests. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
As the fight against security challenges in Nigeria continues, it is imperative to recognize those who have been in the forefront to ensure safety of lives and property. This was championed at the investiture organized by the Nigerian Army in Lagos, where 26 personnel, all senior officers of the Nigerian Army, were inaugurated as fellows of the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management in Nigeria. Diana Adli reports.
In all fronts, the Nigerian army is not relenting in its quest to stem the tide of insurgency and other related crimes in all the 6 geopolitical zones. Strategic collaboration with other bodies has been an effective tool to achieve results and enhance service delivery. These officers have been honored for their immense contribution towards the current fight against terrorism, kidnapping and banditry in the country.
Understanding and apply these tools and concepts can improve your ability to be economically effective and efficient in the way you do your work.
I wish to assure the institute that this honor will serve as a morale booster to us all and will help us to strengthen our commitment in our various endeavors for greater productivity.
To the Nigerian Army, logistics play a major role in its activities, and to match words with action, the Institute went home with a memorable gift of a vehicle from the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Borotai. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
We now take a break. Nationwide continues shortly.
It's good to have you rejoin us. It's Nationwide. Nigeria and the European Union are tasking themselves to further strengthen partnerships and cooperation in security, agriculture, immigration, and other areas of social and economic development. This renewed commitment was the fallout of the ministerial dialogue held online with high-level delegates in Nigeria and Brussels. Usman Aliyu completes the report.
Though Nigeria is not among the biggest trading partner of the European Union, but there is strong partnership existing in peace building, human rights protection, social and economic gains. This meeting therefore focused on how the cooperation is going to be enhanced now that the global community faces unforeseen challenges such as coronavirus. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, together with the Vice President of the European Commission, Joseph Borrell, chaired the meeting joined by 10 ministers from Nigeria and key figures of the EU. In the end, both sides agreed to put in place a strategic and comprehensive partnership such as growing the economy, green partnership in respect to implementation of Paris Agreement on gas emissions, social development, youth empowerment, immigration, among other areas of mutual cooperation.
We can assure you of our very strong commitment to what we've discussed and developing together a roadmap going forward, identifying clear deliverables and working very hard with you to achieve all of them.
Both sides say now is the time for an ambitious partnership better than previous deal, promising to see to a more successful relation. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
9 suspected kidnappers and 9 armed robbers have been arrested by the armed forces in different ongoing operations across the country within the last 7 days. Coordinator, Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche said these at the weekly news conference to give updates on military operations. Details indicate that 4 of the kidnappers were arrested in Sokoto and Katsina states, while 9 suspected armed robbers were apprehended by the troops of Operation Safe Haven and well struck in Mangu local government area of Plateau State.
Achieving a lot through the provision of information, and this phase of getting, apprehending and arresting collaborators and bandits is going to help a lot to move us to the next phase of final clearance. Of course, our kinetics, combat action, both on land and air, is at the peak.
Similarly, troops of Operation Delta Save and Calm Waters 2 of the Nigerian Navy have upscaled the fight against economic sabotage, leading to the discovery of 5 illegal refineries in Ogubolo and Boni local government areas of Rivers State.
Task Force executed successive bomb and rocket runs on targeted terrorist enclaves at various locations in the northeast. Some of these were executed at Njimia and Dure villages in the Sambisa forest area of Borno State.
Defense headquarters commended locals in the areas with ongoing operations for their cooperation that has enhanced proactive operations. Still on security, the Department of State Services is collaborating with the Actors Guild of Nigeria to build bridges of peace and understanding by telling the Nigerian story through creative works. Francis Form completes the report.
In charting a way forward for the country, the Department of State Services appeals to the Actors Guild of Nigeria to begin to re-strategize and mobilize their members towards producing contents that will project Nigeria positively to the outside world.
For every member of the country, particularly every member of the Nollywood, every actor or every person involved in the chain of film production, people must begin to realize that you hold the power of influence, that you hold power of authority to commandeer citizens' participation. And that is why you are agents of change, and as agents of change and influencers, you must use your God-given platforms to bring Nigeria to positive image.
We're here today to affirm our support and help restore the confidence of security operatives who risk their lives to keep the country safe for all, and to also propose new ways to help propagate transformational agenda, especially in creating a new image for the DSS.
The service calls on Nigerians to be law-abiding and allow peace reigns for business activities to thrive. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
And our Maiduguri Network Center is next, and Abubakar is our guide. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Hawa. It's always good to see you. Borno State Government is determined to end street begging through enhanced education curricula and conducive learning environment for quality and improved Sangaya education system to thrive in the state. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum stated this when he inaugurated a 14-month Sangaya Education Reform Committee. Mohammed Ibrahim reports that the occasion took place at the Government House, Maiduguri.
The committee, which is expected to submit its report within 30 days, has the following terms of reference, which include collecting data on the nature, level and type of Sangha education system in the state and identify the structure and system of Sangha education. Others include recommending to the state government long and short-term framework on upliftment of Sangha education to enable government to come up with policies on improving the system, as well as design standard curricula for Sangha education, among others.
To involve in sensitizing and mobilizing other critical stakeholders to accept literacy curricula, to consider any other matter relevant to transforming the Sangha system in Borno State.
Governor Zulum added that the Sangha Education System Reform Committee was deliberately constituted to promote and enhance the Sangha Education System curricula and improve on the present situation, while assuring complete support of the state government towards improving environmental and socio-economic conditions of both scholars and the pupils as part of efforts to curtail street begging, which is becoming worrisome. According to him, the action of the state government is part of his administration's 10-pact agenda and directed the committee to liaise with the State Ministry of Education in discharge of its responsibilities. Further stressed that selection of the membership of the committee was based on their individual integrity and scholarship. Chairman of the Sangha Education System Reform Committee, Khalifa Aliu Ahmad Abul Fatahi, thanked the governor for finding them worthy to serve in the committee and assured him of their willingness and determination to carry out the onerous task of promoting and uplifting Quranic education and Islam in historic Borno Empire. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
Borno State Government has ordered immediate rehabilitation of Government Secondary School Chibok, where more than 200 schoolgirls were abducted by Boko Haram in April 2014. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, who visited Chibok to assess the school, also paid sympathy visit to Takulashi community in the area, recently attacked by Boko Haram insurgents, where 83 families were affected. Mohammed Guni has the rest of the story.
Although the Defense Presidential Committee of Northeast Intervention, PCNI, had done some work in the school,
Majority of roofs were blown off. Governor Zulum's directive is coming 5 years after the then Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, laid foundation for the construction of a new school of international standard to replace the vandalized school.
As government of Borno State, we are the owner of this school, and therefore I've given directive to the Ministry of Education to immediately submit the requirements for rehabilitating the school, so that the school, inshallah, will resume normal academic activities by next session.
Governor Wagana Umara said the reconstruction will involve the provision of all components of learning materials, including functional laboratory for sciences. While in Chibok, Governor Wagana Umara sympathized with 83 families affected by Boko Haram attacks in Tukalashi and directed immediate release of 11 million naira as social protection for them. He described what happened in Tukalashi as unfortunate, saying the state authorities share their pains. Aside social protection, Governor Wagana Umara inspected a community water project designed with 750,000 litre surface tank in Boa, about 5 kilometers away from town. The water project had 10 deeper aquifer boreholes, each with 500,000 litre overhead tank as its sources. The project, which is expected to be completed in 2021, is designed to solve perennial water scarcity bedeviling Chibok town and surrounding communities. The governor also inspected an ongoing Damboa Chibok Mbalala Road project, where he charged the engineers to ensure quality work and speedy completion to meet the 2021 deadline. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA.
The committee, which is expected to submit
in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Very much, Abubakar. And here in Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari, on behalf of the federal government, warmly felicitates with former President Goodluck Jonathan as he turns 63 on Friday, November 20th, 2020. The president acknowledges him for a life of service that has brought honor and goodwill to the country, noting with appreciation the peculiar and remarkable climb of the former president on Nigeria's political ladder. He adds that his dedication has kept him working, most recently as ECOWAS envoy to bring peace to the Republic of Mali. As the former president turns 63, President Buhari prays that Almighty God will grant Dr. Jonathan longer life, good health, and more wisdom to keep serving the nation and humanity. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari joins the family, friends, political associates and government of Yobe State to felicitate with Governor Maimala Buni on the joyous occasion of his 53rd birthday anniversary. The president celebrates the hard-working governor as he devotes his time to delivering dividends of democracy and applauds the achievements of the governor, who is also the chairman All Progressives Congress Caretaker Extraordinary National Convention Committee, and his team in reconciling factions, bringing back former members and welcoming new ones into the governing party. As Governor Buni marks his birthday, the president wishes him many more years of service to his party, state, country, and humanity. Let's now join Jenny in our Port Harcourt studio for more reports. Hello, Jenny.
Well, good evening and welcome. President Wike has advised that national interest should override personal and political affiliations. The governor was speaking when he granted audience to a delegation of Coalition of Northern Governors at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
The group, led by its chairman, Board of Trustees, were in Government House to commend the governor for his untiring efforts to protect the interests of all ethnic nationalities living in the state, especially during the Hajjak NSAS protest by IPOB. Spokesperson of the group, Abdul Azaz Suleiman, expressed their profound gratitude to the governor for his leadership, statesmanship, commitment deployed in protecting the northern communities from the violence and violation of their rights in Oyibo during the Hajjak protests.
Your concerned promptness in redeeming the solemn pledge of 200 million naira to the families of security personnel affected negatively by the flip side of the protest is reassuring. The CNG wishes to use this opportunity to crave Your Excellency's indulgence to extend the same magnanimity to the unfortunate victims of the ugly side of the protest from northern Nigeria to enable them start over.
Governor Wike regrets proscribing the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra in the state, owing to his belief in the unity of the country.
But the point is clear. We cannot allow parochial, sentimental politics to destroy this country. We must not allow it. We must all work in unison. We must all, my brothers and sisters, we must protect and defend the interests of this country.
The governor is of the opinion that if every citizen of the country takes responsibility to promoting peaceful coexistence, the nation would witness exponential growth and development. NTA News.
Strategic sustainability plan has been identified as key to an effective donor engagement. This was the view of stakeholders at a Search for Common Ground Peace Architecture lecture held in Port Harcourt. Yours sincerely was there. Common Ground is a non-governmental organization focused on creating a mutual understanding of conflicts and coordinated responses from stakeholders in the media, civil society, government, and the security. The forum, which is largely funded by donor agencies, is geared towards peace in the Niger Delta region. The meeting, which is the last in its series, is aimed at strategizing ways to attract more donor agencies to support the program.
We want to also reach out to other stakeholders to bring them on board, to understand that there is need to see conflict from adversarial to transform. This way, we will enhance peace-building processes and entrench the habit and mindset of peace-building in the minds of every Niger Delta.
Going forward, the knowledge and skills gained by these communities, issues they never thought possible are resolved. Community groups that never met to discuss are now beginning to talk and resolving issues by themselves.
Stakeholders give insight on how to access funding from international donors.
One of the challenges that donors have in giving money is that there are organizations, we want to give to an organization, but we find out that they don't have the capacity, not just internally, but they don't have the capacity to project.
Everything we have achieved on this project in this state and beyond was as a result of the wonderful contributions that came from you.
Beneficiaries of some donor agencies noted that if given the opportunity by donors, they will reach out to other stakeholders and bring them on board. There is need to see conflict from a transformative approach. And that's it from here. Hawa, it's back to you in Abuja.
Jenny. Here in Abuja, prudent management of public finance and timely remittances to government coffers have been identified as ways of revenue generation needed to facilitate Nigeria's economic recovery. These are views of stakeholders at a mobilization meeting for the amendment of Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 held in Abuja. Over now to Benny Adams.
The conversation here holds strongly to the belief that the level of development in any given society is directly proportional to the level of transparency and accountability of that particular society.
We had in the First Republic zonal and regional governments which were collecting taxes from people and we are utilizing it and people were happy. There was competitive federalism, a lot of taxes were paid. So open up the books. Introduce more transparency and accountability. I assure you Nigerians will run their government and pay for it through taxation without necessarily depending on oil money.
This statement lauds the tune for a genuine appeal for the amendment of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007, presently at committee level in the National Assembly. The Act, which has suffered 3 attempts at amendment from the 7th Assembly, is believed to be a piece of legislation that is critical to the stability of Nigeria's economy.
I want to urge you and I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the Parliament, the members, civil society, organized civil society, media. Let's breathe life into this act
the Night Assembly now has a very interesting window to leave a good legacy, put all the legislations that help up ramp up revenue, help up ensure accountable and prudent management of public funds.
The proposed amendment seeks power to block leakages in government revenue drive by ensuring government-owned enterprises remit 80% of their operating surplus to the Treasury while retaining 20% for their operations, among other provisions. Benny Adams, NTA News.
Economic diversification has been a familiar phrase in the life of the administration of President Buhari, with agriculture as one of its focal areas. Cross River State, following tactfully in the footsteps of the federal government, is using her agro-industrialization drive to match words with action. Paul Abel reports on fortunes expected from the agro-industrialization policy initiative of Governor Ben Ayade.
Placed the state on a new economic pedestal away from its civil service status, the governor introduced the concept of intellectual money to establish various agro-allied and cottage industries in all 18 local government areas across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. These industries, covering different value chains of rice, cassava, cocoa, maize, groundnuts, oil palm, poultry, among others, include the Ayade Industrial Park, housing the Instant Noodles Factory, Chicken Processing Factory, Rice Seeds and Seedling Factory, Feed Mill in the Southern Senatorial District.
I know that Mr. President is fully in support of the government of Cross River State, particularly when it comes to agro-industrialization, which is his own baby.
At Etara community, we have acquired 7,000 hectares of land. All these activities are deliberate to make us number 1 in the world, not just in Nigeria.
Some of these industries have been completed, waiting investors' involvement to kickstart production, while others are at various levels of completion. But what are the benefits of these industries after all?
So we have created a new value chain in a beneficiation process for young men and women to go into rice, into maize cultivation, soya bean cultivation, because that's what we need to put into the feed mill to produce the feed that will feed the birds, that the birds will come here for slaughter and process as frozen chicken for domestic and external consumption.
The message to the governor is that he should keep on being the leader that he is. He should keep on leading the people to the better place.
Lord, I pray God will bless him and more wisdom for him to do his work as is in the state.
We are looking forward to producing chocolate bars in Cross River State.
So I want to call on all the youths in Cross River State, to call on all the stakeholders in Cross River State to bear with the governor, and that the unemployment problem we are currently facing now in Cross River State will soon be a thing of the past.
Apart from patronage by various states on the rice seedlings and plans to export other items, the state government has also provided agricultural equipment to assist farmers in land clearing, harvesting, as well as rehabilitate government-owned moribund cocoa estates with replanting at Etun local government area. Economic watchers are of the view that the agro-industrialization initiative, if given the required ardent attention, it will not only impact the state on the path of economic prosperity, but the country as well. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And from Calabar, we take you to Enugu, where Chineye is on standby.
Thank you, Hawa. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. The Director General, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Julie Oka-Donley, has charged the stakeholders and the newly inaugurated State Task Force on Human Trafficking to give their maximum cooperation and support in their various states. The DG NAPTIP gave the charge during a 2-day training of stakeholders inaugurated by the state governors. Mina Adobe Ukobasi reports.
The two-day training for state task forces drew the stakeholders and members of the state task forces on human trafficking across the Southeast Zone and other participants from various states of Nigeria. The focus of the training is to equip the relevant authorities on the appropriate information skill about human trafficking and various ways to fight the menace in the society. The Director General NAPTIP disclosed that the challenges of human trafficking and irregular migration are quite enormous, and new initiatives must be developed to ensure sustained successes against these challenges.
What we plan to do is, when we rescue victims of trafficking, we give them psychosocial support, medical support, and then we hand them over to their state task force.
Representatives from the International Organization for Migration, IOM, and the project officers assisted vulnerable migrants and counter-trafficking explained that the International Organization for Migration, IOM, has been working assiduously with NAPTIP for various counter-trafficking strategies and policing at operational levels.
We are supporting NAPTIP with strengthening coordination levels at state level on issues of human trafficking.
There are goodwill messages from various states. Members of the task forces were inaugurated in various states, drawn from Enugu, Ebonyi, and Anambra states. In Enugu, Mina Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
The 82 Division Nigerian Army has launched exercise Crocodile Smile 6 at a two-day interagency workshop in Enugu. Declaring the workshop open, the General Officer commanding 82 Division, Major General Lasisi Adeboye, said the exercise is part of the Nigerian Army's constitutional role to aid civil authority in combating various security threats in the country. Chidima Madu completes the report.
The training, which aims to tackle factors militating against effective synergy among security agencies in order to ensure effective joint operations, brought together heads of security agencies, senior army officers, and officers of different security agencies. The General Officer commanding 82 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Lasisi Adeboye, acting on the directive of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukubura Tai, formally flagged off the exercise Crocodile Smile 6. He said the workshop serves as an avenue for promoting effective working relationship among the various security agencies within their area of responsibility, which spans the entire Southeast and Cross River State.
Criminal elements in these states are hereby warned in their own interest to desist from nefarious activities and surrender all legally acquired weapons and ammunition in their possession.
Some security heads in their presentation and during the interactive section harped on the need for joint operation, which will make them formidable against miscreants. They also pointed out challenges that calls for urgent attention. It is said that the rise and fall of any nation depends on its internal security. A lot of submissions were made during the workshop, which will promote great synergy among the security agencies. In Enugu, Chidima Madu, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Hawa in Abuja after this commercial break. Do stay.
Very well, Chineye. We now go on a short commercial break. Sports now. 8 Nigerians drafted into the NBA. Here is more on sports updates with Ayodeji Makinde.
A 5-man House Committee on Sports, led by its chairman Olumide Oshoba, paid a scheduled visit to the National Stadium, Lagos, with the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Gabriel Aduda, present to inspect facilities at the edifice. The committee inspected the main bowl where work is ongoing, the National Institute for Sport, the Legacy Pitch, amongst others.
As everyone is aware of, there were illegal structures here, and those illegal structures were just dismantled and taken away. So we wanted to have an overview of what the National Stadium looks like now.
Over 30,000 runners are set to participate in the 5th edition of the Lagos Women Run, which will feature virtual and real race. Organizers say all COVID-19 protocols will be strictly observed during the 10-kilometer race on Saturday, November 21.
You can run everywhere, anywhere. As far as you have the running app. The running app is those things that will track you, that will assess you. You can run in your garden. You can run with your team. You can run in your anywhere.
In basketball, Jordan Nwora and Daniel Oturu are second-round picks as 8 Nigerians are drafted into the NBA. Others are Isaac Okoro, Zeke Nnaji, Onyeka Okongu, and Desmond Bain. Meanwhile, Precious Achiuwa and Tim Udoka were drafted in the first round, making both players the first 2 born and raised in Nigeria to achieve the feat. In Abuja, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide today. We truly appreciate your being part of it. Do remember to stay safe and be responsible as COVID-19 is still very much around. Good evening.